I want to ask all of you, what does the future look like to you? The Matrix, Planet of the Apes, Back to the Future? To me, the future looks like my father. I remember when I was just 6 years old, watching TV, pretending to be Jimmy Neutron with my little sister, and my father comes walking in with books, large books. And of course, just like any typical dad, he introduces to a child of 6 years mathematics. But not just any maths, the history of mathematics. And we spent the entire time that day discussing in detail about math and science, how it's changed, how it's evolved, the importance of zero, the significance of infinity. And I remember looking up to him that day, asking him, as a confused brown child, "Baba, why do I need to know this?" And he replied without skipping a beat, "Because I said so." Fast forward a couple years down the line. I'm now 12 years old, starting the 7th grade, officially the beginning of MYP design. How wonderful. To my father, he was over the moon. He finally found a way he could communicate with me in a way that he loved. I'd come of age in his eyes. We spent late nights talking, and he'd be giving me implications for my designs. He'd be telling me suggestions that were far too complex for anybody to understand. I remember arguing with him, "Baba, for the last time, I'm not making a rocket ship for my 7th grade design project." So, coming back to my father, he's always been an outlier. He doesn't fit in. Hi, Dad. And because of this, his thoughts, his ideas, his perceptions were always outside of the mainstream way of thinking. He quit his job at 35 to implement his own innovations, his own ideas for the future. He very much disliked working and building up on a job or an invention that's already been done before. He wanted to make his mark, and he wanted to change the world. And that was when one day he got a phone call. Hello, is this Mr. Khurram? Yeah, it is, it's me. I'd like to talk to you about your recent rocket ship design. It's the best we've ever seen. I think it might change the world. And that was the day I regretted not doing a rocket ship for my 7th grade design project. Okay, that's not what happened. He hasn't changed the world. I believe that he will one day. But all I do know right now is that he's changed my perception about technology enforcing into our future. So, as you all must know by now, I absolutely dreaded my father's lectures about math and science and physics and electronics. They were very long. And now that I look back, I realize that without people like him in this world, maybe we wouldn't have cars, phones, buses, mechanisms, automation. He makes people think. And for the past 15 years, no matter how long, how boring, how tedious, he made me think about technology and science and how they'll come together and become a root cause for change into our future lifestyle. So let me ask you again, what does the future look like to you? Hello, my name is Minaal Khurram, and I'm going to be talking about the evolution of technology on human lifestyle in the next 10 years. So when I talk about lifestyle, I talk about me getting up in the morning, going to school, working on the personal project, and then I come back home and I work on the personal project again. And what I've come to realize is that these little tasks, these little jobs that we have to do every day, such as picking up our groceries or cleaning up our floor, going to school, coming back from school, they accumulate to about 60% of our day, leaving the other 40% for other important tasks that we need to do in that time frame, which is why I find myself at 12:30 a.m. watching that recent Riverdale episode, because I just don't have enough time within the day to do something that I want to do, things that make me happy. So imagine you live for about 80 years. You've just spent those 45 years doing run-of-the-mill, mundane tasks. But what if I told you that that dreaded part of your life, those 45 years, could be translated into something more meaningful, something that you love to do? In order for you to understand this, you need to be able to understand the nervous system. The nervous system is compiled with both nerve cells and fibers that transmit different impulses to different parts of our bodies. Going into more detail, the motor neurons are responsible for transmitting those signals through our spinal cord to our muscles, and then allowing our muscles to contract. So imagine you want to click play on that Netflix episode on your computer. You're thinking about it, and those nerves, those impulses, travel through your arm and allow you to click press on that button. What if I told you that by 2027, simple tasks such as pressing a button wouldn't even need to be an issue anymore? It is of my belief that nanobots will be connected to our brains wirelessly, allowing machines to do the job for us. In order for you to understand this, you need to be able to understand what a nanobot is. A nanobot is sort of like a chip implanted into your brain that's connected, instead of your muscles or your veins or your nerves, it's connected to a machine, allowing the machine to do the job for you. So imagine there's a Diet Coke right here on the table. You think about grabbing it, and those impulses, those nerves, they go through your spinal cord to your muscle, allowing you to grab that Diet Coke. But with the implants of nanobots, instead of just walking over and grabbing the Diet Coke with your muscles because of your impulses, the machine can bring it to you. So you could watch that recent Riverdale episode, and you could drink a Diet Coke without wasting any time and doing something that you love doing. This is because nanobots are going to outsource our thoughts. So instead of watching that Riverdale episode at 12:30 a.m., you could watch it at 10 o'clock, providing yourself with more time to sleep, a higher productivity rate, and a generally better health. A scientist in the name of Ray Kurzweil provided a similar idea. The nanobots would be connected to the cloud, allowing memories, information, thoughts, ideas, emails to be logged within our brains. But not only that, the information that we're gathering from the cloud is from the internet, so we can easily get access to all this information, thus improving our characteristics and our emotions to a higher complexity. In short, we're going to be more funnier, more impressive, and better at sharing loving sentiments. It is also said that nanobots are going to further improve our learning, making us more unique. And here's why. Some people tend to believe when they read science fiction that cyborg technologies will take over our minds, making us less emotional, less human, less prone to developing our own ideas and relying mainly on the machines to do it for us. But in fact, it's the exact opposite. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is key. And our ability to apply knowledge is what differentiates us from other people. Otherwise, we'd all be equal. Think about it like this. Think about a person studying at an international IB school will think differently than a person in a third world country that doesn't have access to all this information. With the implants of nanobots, information sharing is unlimited. Nobody is being left out. Everybody can have the same amount of information between two sides. And the cloud will provide a universe of information. So the question still remains is, now that we'll be able to gather all this information, that means we don't have to go to school, right? Well, unfortunately, you still have to go to school. But think about the future as having a different learning system, a system that's non-informational and non-research based, maybe an even improvement of the IB program. And here's why. So instead of spending 5 weeks learning about cell processes, you could already know it beforehand and spend those 5 weeks applying that knowledge. And instead of just doing standardized tests, you'd apply your knowledge and expand your creativity. And the more creative you are, the more you'll be able to apply your knowledge to different applications, which will differentiate you between an average student and a genius student. So, in that idea in mind, with the idea of being able to gather information and access the internet in a second, there might practically be a Google Translate implanted to our brains. So will language barrier ever be a cause of concern? Will we all speak the same language? Will we all speak the same language? Possibly. In order for you to understand this, think about it like this. Some people tend to believe that in the future, wars are going to come and they're going to disrupt our society. But with the idea of language, that might even improve our politics, our economics, our interdependent trades, and business. So instead of wars coming to dispute our society, the result of it, of communication and knowledge being shared equally, would result in probably world peace. I could win a beauty pageant with my world peace idea, just saying. The idea of peace also strongly correlates with health. Maintaining the perfect health, living a longer life. In the future, it is of my belief that home-based tools will be provided in our homes, allowing us to understand and read certain diseases that we might have, such as tuberculosis, Zika, swine flu, those sorts of things. Your doctor can check for your results while you're in bed and give you the go-ahead for the prescription drug, which can be delivered to your home by Amazon drones in the matter of 3 to 5 minutes. ECG devices and portable ultrasounds will bring healthcare to your home. Fitbit is already working on monitoring our everyday steps, our sleeping patterns, and our heartbeats. Healthcare sensors will ensure that we are healthy every second of every day, ensuring that our blood flow, our heartbeat, our airflow is constant. So with the idea of improving our health, will that have an impact to how long we're going to live? I was going to explain this in a second. So another great breakthrough that might occur in our future is the ability to live beyond our past generations. Ever since the beginning of time, people have been obsessed with immortality, being able to live on forever. Thus the creation of fantasy movies for little girls who like to watch and binge watch Twilight every night. Trust me, I am one of them. It's okay. We're in a safe place here. And though we're not going to be able to reach the point of immortality, we will be able to extend our lifespan to about 120 years of age. This is because by optimizing our DNA with new medications and drugs, we can potentially remove retired cells. Retired cells that was an idea reinforced by Baker and von Dersen when they were trying to find a way to stop cancer. The gene PUBR1 is a gene responsible for aging, and by removing senescent cells, which is the protein identified by the name P16, we can potentially cheat death. So with the idea of greater longevity within our reach, I suggest you start drawing up that long bucket list now. So, living longer means we might spend more time on transportation, or maybe not. Yes, I have to say that over time, our transportation system has changed. From walking, to horses, to carriages, to bicycles, to cars with engines. But there haven't been holistic changes done to our transportation system. Yes, we have been able to modify the designs, make them more appealing to people. People want to see these cool cars rolling by. But the function and the engine has still been constant over many years. In the future, it is predicted that we are going to be moving towards driverless cars and self-passenger drones. So you could go from the CIS campus to Changi Airport in the matter of 3 minutes, and would no longer have to be a prisoner of the daily commute. I know that is the main thing that I'm looking forward to. So ask yourself now, the future. The future. The future. The future starts with you. Nanobots pouring cereal for you in the morning. You driving to school with driverless cars. You learning in a school system, an improved version, making you more creative, making you more unique, and spending the 120 years of extended life doing what is meaningful. The future has millions of possibilities based on the ideas of scientists, engineers, doctors, designers, and maybe even myself. Maybe even myself. And because of this, I look back and I thank 35-year-old Khurram for giving 6-year-old Minaal those millions of books, because it has expanded my mind into different possibilities and ways our future can be implemented. A future worth sharing. Thank you very much.